I grew up in an abusive home. My father was sexually, physically, and mentally abusive. And because of that, lots of things in my life are different for some than they are for some people. My name is Penny Harper. I am originally from Natchez, Mississippi. I now live in Gonzales, Louisiana. I am married to Ronnie Harper. We have 3 children, Jody, Honey, and Nick. A lot of you may have seen me in the church working, maybe serving pizza in the youth room, which is one of the things that I love to do. I do have what some people term as a servant's heart. I love to serve the Lord. I love to serve people. Have been that way most of my life and have instilled that in my children because they also serve right along beside me. My life has not always been that nice, though. My father was sexually, physically, and mentally abusive. I remember as a kid telling him I loved him, and he told me emphatically he did not love me. We grew up in extreme poverty. Our first home that I remember was a cinder block house, and we had only electricity. We had a cistern outside to catch rainwater, and if it didn't have water, we took large trash cans to the gas station to get water to drink. We were not allowed really to take baths. If we took a bath and my father found out, we usually got a spanking. I didn't even know what a toothbrush was till 3rd grade. When I was probably 13, my father was already sexually abusing me. I remember one night he came in and he was drunk and he called me a whore, and I said, fine, I will go out and be a whore. And I went out. I was at 13 having sex with a married man, drinking alcohol and smoking pot. My 6th grade teacher every day would have us read the Bible in class, and most of the time I was the one that got to read the Bible in class. And to this day, she's still my favorite teacher, and she's close to 90 years old now, and she's still teaching kids piano and different things and playing in her church. When I was probably 14, I believe I was 14, I was coming home Easter Sunday. My father came out and was swinging his fists and cussing and all of that stuff. And this was the first time I'd ever confronted my father with his sexual abuse. He grabs a handful of forks and goes to stab my mother. And so I pushed her out of the way, and he wound up stabbing me instead. My mother told him not to ever come back. The police took him. He didn't stay in my house again. I never talked to him again until I was in college, when as a college student I would go and visit him in a nursing home. It wasn't long after that I guess my mom became depressed or something over that, and it seemed like everything I did was always wrong. I couldn't do anything right. And it got so bad that I moved out with my best friend. I lived there for some time, and my mother accused me of being on drugs and alcohol and having sex. And I basically told her, you know, I was involved in all that. I said, but God's changing my life. Things are changing. I've got people that are supporting me. I'm not that person anymore. The Natchez Children's Home is where I lived until I graduated from college. My counselors didn't know anything about it, so they called the Children's Home. They came in and took me in and told me that I could stay. The Natchez Children's Home teaches kids how to live for Christ. If you're already a Christian, they help you to grow. I went to Mississippi State, got a degree in physical education, and while at Mississippi State, I met my husband, Ronnie. And we dated for a couple of years before he finally proposed. He beat me to the gun. We've been married since 1991. And all marriages have ups and downs, but I tell you, God has really worked in our marriage, and especially, I think He's worked a lot in our marriage since we've come to the chapel. What was the one thing that He liked most about me? And that was inspired by one of our classes with Steve and Sherry Fox, our married life class. And he said that the thing he liked most about me was my stubbornness and hard-headedness. He said, well, you know, if you weren't stubborn and hard-headed, you would not be alive today. You wouldn't be the person you are today. Your stubbornness and hard-headedness has helped our family through a lot of crisis. One of the things that, and this is a quote, the thing that keeps me honest is, forgiveness is for the forgiver and not for the one being forgiven. Those pains, and I'm not sitting here saying that I don't still have struggles sometimes with what happened in the past. I do. And if someone says they have zero pain from it, that's not true. I do struggle sometimes because of what may happen in your everyday life. You're going to have things that you struggle with. But to be able to forgive somebody, move on, and to say, you know what happened to me when I was growing up was not my fault. And if it was my fault, then I take possession of that, but I also have to forgive myself and move on from that and say that tomorrow's a new day. Let's start over, let's move on, and let's make life better. It's hard to let other people in sometimes. It really is. And, you know, just going back a few years ago, I went through some struggles because of a 22-year friendship that just really went down the tubes. Nothing to do with me, but because that person couldn't face up the facts of what she did. And it was so hard on me and my family. I took it very personal. I was not a good mother. I was not a good wife. Was depressed. Didn't trust anyone, not even my husband. And I still struggle with that some. But within the past 6 years, that's really been changing in my life. And I've got some great friends. Well, it's overcoming the fears. I mean, it's, you know, in one of my pictures, it's the fear of height. But overcoming the fear of trusting someone. Because it's, you know, it hurts. You don't want to be hurt. So it's very hard to trust someone because you're fearful of it. So a lot of that, a lot of forgiveness, a lot of anything is overcoming the fears of what may happen and saying whatever happens, it's going to be okay. I don't want to stand with the setting sun and hate myself for the things I've done. I want to go out with my head erect. I want to deserve all mankind's respect. In my struggle for fame and health, I don't want to look at myself and know that I'm all bluster and bluff and empty show.